We're as entertaining as we are.
Which is not entertaining enough.
Which is not entertaining enough for you people. We need to give you more.
What more do you want from me?
What more do you want from me? I give you my heart, my soul. If I had a soul, but I have a heart, so I'd give you that, but then I'd just fall over dead.
Excuses, excuses.
There's a lot of strange people in the entertainment world, and being as that we're in the entertainment world, we know strange because we are strange. The 2.5 Men actor, his name is Angus T. Jones. He decided to get religion, and he decides to go off on a tear. And if you've ever seen the TV show 2.5 Men, the guy acts like he's a total ditz head. I mean, he sounds like he's got about 2 brain cells between him, and one of them is leaking air. He gets on this, he makes this blog post, video blog post, and it's like, oh, well, if you're watching my show, and I really don't like the show, and it's like crap, and
called it filth,
and it's filthy. And he's basically called it filth. And he talked like he was, like his character does. Then shit hit the fan for him, and probably from his managers and whatnot, and said, you can't be dissing the show, and you need to apologize because his religious convictions were not enough. So I was saying this, that if he felt his religious convictions were so strong, he should give back the money. But apparently, he's not going to do that. And he apologized, and he's put out a statement. Now, you can tell that somebody else wrote this for him. He says, I apologize if my remarks reflect me showing indifference to and disrespect of my colleagues, and a lack of appreciation of the extraordinary opportunity of which I have been blessed. What? I don't think
big words.
He used really big words. I think his words were each about 7 letters long, and none of them were indifference. I've never heard him you use the word indifference. I don't think it's even in his vocabulary. Crystal, your thoughts?
Well, I'm not really familiar with this group, Forerunner Chronicles, that he's associating with, that he's made these videos with. I mean, I know they're a religious group, but I heard a lot of talk about the Seventh-day Adventist, and I'm not going to go that far. I'm going to say that I'm not familiar with their particular brand of religion.
Okay.
I did go back and I looked, and most children don't just sign themselves up for these Hollywood jobs, and most of these are parents that are pushing these kids into this stuff. He's been in it since he was 3 or 4 years old when they relocated from Texas. The parents are benefiting financially from him and have been, and he's only 19 years old. Yeah. So this is a kid that's trying to find his way in the world, and he's got every right to be exploring and deciding what he does stand for or doesn't stand for. And I really,
well, the thing is, though, I don't want to interrupt you, but I agree, he can find his own way. That's not the issue here. But when you're under a contract, they have contracts that say basically, if you diss the show, we're gonna either fine you or we're gonna fire your ass.
I agree with you, but at the same time, if he felt really convicted to do so, then I'm going to have to say I kind of admire that, Packard, because in a world today where it's easy to follow whomever the leader is, to be able to do that at his own expense, he knew that. I don't think, regardless of what he comes across as, I don't think he's that dumb that he didn't think there would be some repercussions. I know he's a kid and he's not thinking with an adult brain, but at the same time, he did say what apparently he's feeling right now, and he's got. I support him in every way to do so.
You know what I find really? I'm sorry. You know what I find really fascinating is that he found religion after he was doing drugs.
Now, he goes back and talks, because I did go back and listen to his story, and he does talk about being exposed to religion early on. It just wasn't like a consistent thing. His family was not that religious, and they really didn't support him. And he's kind of gotten bits and pieces along the way. And I think he came across as sounding like a kid that really did start feeling this and start feeling like really kind of what he's been forced to do was really against what he believes in now. So I've got to say I'm going to support this young man.
Yeah, you know, I'll tell you, when I was his age, around that age, I fell into the religious trap also, and I eventually, you know, grew up and climbed out of that hole and learned to think for myself. And I think eventually he might as well. I don't know. I can't say if he is or isn't. But the thing is, though, I think he uses this as an excuse just to find it, because a lot of people use religion as a shield for their bigotry, or just so they can say, "Oh, God told me to say this." So, and this is how he felt he felt. You know, he had to say this. He described himself as a paid hypocrite. Personally, I'm not buying the whole religious experience thing. I think he's full of crap. And you said you didn't know much about the Seventh-day Adventists. I mean, I've heard of them myself. As I said before, they are cults. I mean, of course, I say all religions are cults anyway.
They're like atheists. They take Sundays off.
Yeah, they do actually. I think their holy days
is on Saturday.
Yeah, it's a Saturday. They're like Jews. Jews have their Sabbath is on Saturday, but they're a cult.
Well, I mean, I know, and I don't know that I couldn't find really where this Forerunner Chronicles actually associated themselves with a particular brand of any religion per se, other than believers. Mm-hmm. But he does mention that and. Like, for the record, I did grow up, and that's just the path that I chose. And I just think he's exploring it. Maybe he is lashing out against his parents for making him do something he didn't want to do all these years. And maybe, maybe this is a ruse, but maybe he really is just trying to find his way in life.
Yeah, you know, the thing is, he says, I never drank, and I'm still a virgin. It's like, that's TMI, man. I really don't care about where you put your willy.
You're wasting your youth, kid.
Yeah. Youth is wasted on the young, as they say. Joe, your thoughts?
Yeah, I watched the videos, and I agree with Crystal. I mean, he's very young. Uh-huh. He's kind of immature. He probably lives in one of those Hollywood actor bubbles where he doesn't get exposed to much. In the videos, he's actually kind of being interviewed by this member of his church, uh-huh. and the guy is black, and he gets kind of uncomfortable talking. He's like uncomfortable how to address a black guy, like, oh, I don't know, black guy, because you're a black guy, and the guy's like, no, you're cool, dude. Like he had to actually establish how he should talk to this other person. And so that just shows, like, he probably doesn't get out much. He probably isn't,
They have black people out there? What is that?
There are black people in the world, yes.
Yes, wow.
But, yeah, I mean, he's talking about how he found religion. He makes judgments about what other people should be watching. And then he apologizes for his statements. But, whatever. If he really feels, like you said, if he really feels bad about what he's been doing, he can just give the money back, or he can give it to some humanitarian group like UNICEF. And I was looking at some of the comments that people put on the bottom of the apology article, and people in the chat room right here were actually talking about it. This kid looks like he's going to be the next Kirk Cameron.
Oh yeah, it might be. So,
maybe Kirk Cameron, Ray Comfort, and him can get together and do like a 2.5 show of some kind.
Hey, they could be their own trilogy.
Exactly.